Hey guys, hope everybody's having a great weekend. It's nice to see the sun. I know we had a couple rainy days here last week that just kind of so dreary. So anyways, just wanted to jump on here really quick and share some tips, 10 tips to break through a plateau. I know this time of year, we can, we have so many temptations with all the barbecues and everything. So, this really helped me when I was kind of thinking, okay, what have I done in the past? And, that way I can share that with you. So, my first tip is to, calculate 20 total carbs per day instead of net carbs. I know we're always talking about net carbs and subtracting the fiber, but I have really found that, when I get a little bit more strict and go for the 20 total carbs instead of net carbs, that makes all the difference. So, I know it's a little bit challenging, but I just encourage you to try that if that is, something that you're struggling with. Okay, tip number 2 is to incorporate fasting. Hi, Darla, how are you? So I know a lot of us are doing intermittent fasting. A lot of people do like the 16-8, where maybe you end your eating window at 8 p.m. and then you don't eat again until 12 o'clock the next day. So that works out great. If you haven't ever done fasting, I would say maybe start there. I think you'll really notice a difference, if you skip at least one meal and, just try to, continue shortening your eating window, so that you're fasting the rest of the time. If you have already done, some of the intermittent fasting, maybe you can move on to a 24-hour fast, a 48-hour fast, 72-hour fast. The 24-hour ones really aren't bad at all because you still get to eat one meal. So you can do, lunch and then you fast until lunch the next day, or dinner. That's what I usually do just because dinner's when I am the most hungry. So, but I think just giving your body a break for a few days or a day really helps it do what it needs to do, so it's not just digesting food all day long. So I really think that fasting will also help. Hi Sandra, how are you? Okay, so my tip number 3 is to, try removing dairy. And I know that dairy is such our staple foods on keto especially, but a lot of people, it does cause, weight loss stalls, and, it also can cause some inflammation. So maybe it doesn't, but that way you'll know if you try removing it and see if you're able to lose some weight, that maybe that was, something that was causing the plateau for you. All right, number 4 is to try removing the sweet treats. And again, I know that's something that helps us stick to keto a lot of times, but for me personally, I know that when I have all that around, I'm just more prone to eat every time I go by the refrigerator instead of I don't really need that. It's just I know it's there, and so it's just so much more tempting. I also have found that when I am eating more sweets, I just crave more than normal as well. So I don't know if you guys have fallen into that, but that's something that has really helped me. And it's one of those things, like the first couple of days are the hardest, but once you get through to like that 3rd and 4th day, you don't even miss it. And so once it's out of your system, you can have a lot more control over those cravings and that kind of thing. Okay, tip number 5, sorry about that. Remove alcohol for at least 30 days. And I know there are, low carb alcohol drinks coming out. There's, different wines that are more dry, and, I definitely enjoy my glass of wine as well. But the thing is, I remember when I first started keto, I was the most strict I've ever been. I eliminated alcohol for 30 days. I stuck to my macros. I, just really was like, I'm going to do this right. And I had the best success. And so, for me, maybe it doesn't affect you as it does me, but, when I have alcohol, I just don't seem to lose as much weight. I might make, not as good food choices the next day, things like that. And so, that might also help if you're a little bit stricter, even if you start off at a week at a time. I mean, I think it'll still make a difference and you'll feel so much better. Okay, tip 6. Try eliminating snacks and stick to, 1 or 2 meals a day. So, I know, again, we have keto snacks and sometimes we want cheese or, something to kind of get us by from meal to meal. But every time that we eat, even if we're eating low carb and high fat, it still is raising our insulin levels. And so you kind of get out of that fat burning mode. So the longer you can go without eating, the better. I've noticed when I just stick to 2 meals a day and don't do any snacking, that, works the best for me. So that is tip number 6. Number 7, drink more water. I know, sometimes I'm like really good about drinking, tons and tons of water, but there are those days that you are like, man, I'm on the same bottle of water and it's 4:00 in the afternoon. And I feel like, that can really take a toll on you, dehydration. And it's just having that water helps to keep you full, and it's just good to help cleanse and detox you and everything like that. So I think, water, that's something that sometimes we have to be a little bit more aware of. There's the apps that you can, click, the bottles of water you've had, or sometimes I'll just do different check marks in my planner or something like that. So I think that is helpful to just maybe start tracking it a little bit better to make sure that you're getting enough water each day. On that note, number 8 is tracking, all of your meals and everything that you put into your mouth. I know I go through spurts where sometimes I will, but then I have a, pretty good idea of how many carbs are in certain things, so I'll stop. But whenever I track, I think I'm just so much more aware of what I'm eating. I eat less snacks. I personally use MyFitnessPal, just because that, I know that's an older app, but it works for me. I've put in all of my recipes and it's kind of time consuming to do that. So I just don't want to have to do that all over again in another app. But there are other apps out there, Carb Manager, Senza, I think, and some other ones. But MyFitnessPal works, and since I do tend to do more of the total carbs than the net carbs, that works for me. So tip number 9 is to do meal prep and to plan out meals for the week. And so again, it's one of those things, if we don't have things planned out, we come home Wednesday evening, don't have anything out to cook, don't have anything prepared, and you're just more tempted to fall into fast food or something else easy that might not be keto or might not be the best choice. So, I mean, if we take a little time on a Sunday or Saturday or whatever day works for you, just to kind of plan out the week and do some meal prep, I think that just makes all the difference. So the last tip is to find an accountability partner. And so I know a lot of times when we don't have anyone holding us accountable, we're the first ones to just, give up on ourselves, so to speak, and just say, oh, it'll be okay, I'll start fresh tomorrow. But if you have an accountability partner that you talk with every day or every week, however you want to do it, and you have like some commitments that you make to each other, I think you will, think twice before doing, before cheating or before not doing that workout or different things like that. So I think that will really help, just having that accountability partner. But I think that was about it. I just thought I'd share. It was on my mind, and I know, like I said, this time of year can be difficult with the barbecues and all the things going on, 4th of July celebrations, vacations, and sometimes it just helps to have a little bit of a reminder. So